Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into the meticulously crafted blueprint behind exactly how toddlers guess animal names. You know, if you've ever watched a kid completely mesmerized by a screen, shouting lion or cow for the absolute 100th time while you're slowly losing your mind, you probably thought it was just chaotic, colorful fun. But actually, there is a rigid underlying architecture that makes these educational moments work. It's kind of brilliant. So ask yourself, how exactly do you design a guessing game for a 2-year-old? To really understand this, we have to look way past all those bright colors. Creating content for this specific age group requires highly specific, almost mechanical constraints. You're not just making a cute show, you are literally engineering a precise psychological feedback loop. A toddler's developing brain actually needs this exact level of engineering to successfully pull a word like lion from memory all the way to their mouth. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with a toddler guessing game hook, look at the anatomy of a guess, check out the rules of engagement, explore how the visual experience is designed, and then see how it all wraps up in the final adventure. All right, Section 1, the toddler guessing game. The magic here has to happen incredibly fast, establishing the entire premise in just 15 to 20 seconds. The whole foundation of this script relies on cheerful, playful interactions directed specifically at kids aged 2 to 4. The primary goal is laser-focused, right? Learn animal names. But the method, that's the fascinating part. It relies completely on repetition, constant praise, and an unwavering, just super high level of energy. There are 0 secondary objectives to distract them. Just look at this opening quote. "Hello, little explorers. Are you ready to play the animal guessing game? Let's go!" What's really interesting about this is how immediately it establishes that insane high-energy tone. The script actually dictates pairing this dialogue with exciting music right out of the gate to capture their attention instantly. And by calling them little explorers, it's an invitation. They're active participants now, not just passive viewers. Moving into Section 2, anatomy of a guess. Once that hook is set, we get right into the actual mechanics of the guessing game itself. Every single animal introduced follows this exact, unhurried 4-step sequence. It's like clockwork. First, ask and zoom, asking what animal is this while the camera executes a slow zoom. Second, a pause. Third, the big reveal of the animal's name accompanied by its real sound. And finally, enthusiastic reinforcement and praise. Boom, 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 boom. I really want to highlight this number 3. A strict 3-second pause is mandated right after asking, what animal is this? In broadcasting, 3 seconds of dead air feels like an absolute eternity. But for toddler education, it's crucial. Giving the child this necessary silence gives their brain the time to process the visual, retrieve the vocabulary word, and actually shout out their guess. It's the most vital part of the learning mechanic. Next up, Section 3, the rules of engagement. Let's look at exactly what the narrator is saying during this loop, and more importantly, their limitations. The script demands absolute discipline. You've got to keep sentences super short, literally a maximum of 5 to 7 words per sentence. You always have to sound excited. You always praise the child. You're repeating the animal name 3 to 4 times, and you're repeating its sound. Oh, and the biggest rule? Never, ever explain scientifically. The energy has to stay extremely high the whole time. This comparison hits the nail on the head. You say, "It's a lion, roar!" You do not say, "Lions are large mammals that live in." The script explicitly forbids scientific explanations. I mean, dropping facts about carnivorous mammals is a great way to put a 2-year-old right to sleep. Instead, it favors high-energy sound repetition over facts, because at this developmental stage, fun, loud, repetitive sounds aid memory way better than complex definitions. And the pacing? It is relentless. The blueprint mandates that you must introduce another animal exactly every 20 seconds. Once you finish that 4-step loop, you pivot immediately to the next creature. No lingering allowed. Because of that rapid 20-second turnover, the script manages to pack this massive list of 20 distinct animals into a tiny 4 to 5 minute window. We're talking wild safari animals, domestic farm animals, all the way down to aquatic creatures like dolphins and penguins. It achieves this huge volume of vocabulary building without ever overwhelming the kid, simply because that 20-second loop is perfectly predictable. All right, Section 4, designing the visual experience. We have the audio and pacing locked down, but how is the visual environment constructed to support this rapid-fire guessing? Well, the visual instructions are just as strict. Interestingly, it requires this really fascinating mix of realities. The animal images themselves, they have to be high quality and realistic, so the child learns what a real tiger or cow actually looks like. But everything surrounding that realistic animal is pure, highly stimulating cartoonish joy. Bright backgrounds, smiling cartoon clouds, floating stars, balloons, confetti. It creates an environment of constant celebration. And text plays a highly specific role here, particularly bouncing, colorful text. The script dictates that when the narrator shouts, "Lion!" bouncing, colorful text of the word lion must appear right at that exact moment. It's not just a loud noise. It perfectly syncs the visual written word with the auditory sound and a fun animation. It's a multi-sensory hit landing all at once. Finally, Section 5, the final adventure. How does this meticulously structured blueprint wrap up once all 20 animals have been shown? Unsurprisingly, it ends exactly as cheerfully as it began. The script specifies happy background music and this exact sign-off. Yay! You learned so many animals today. Give yourself a big clap. Which animal was your favorite? It continues that unrelenting praise, asks one last engaging question, and leaves the little explorer feeling like they just accomplished something huge.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a thought. We often dismiss content for 2-year-olds as just silly noises and bright colors. But what does this highly structured, 20-second looping blueprint reveal about the true mechanics behind the media that captures a toddler's attention? Behind those smiling clouds and roaring lions is a rigid, carefully timed, deeply psychological engine, engineered specifically for memory retention. Consider that the next time you see a seemingly simple children's game. It's not just play, it's a perfectly calibrated learning machine. Thanks for joining me today, and keep exploring.